All right. We are officially on, so we are being recorded. So, Dan Ferguson is going to join us here in a little bit as our special guest and run us through whatever exciting stuff he's going to train on tonight. But I want to cover a couple things. I'm not going to go, I had kind of mentioned to a few people that were on early. I'm not going to go into everything that's going to change in the isogenics world because I want everybody to have feel the sense of excitement when they start announcing it at NYKO, but they are going to change some things. And I can tell you that money is going to happen sooner. So it's good that if you're at manager or above. Okay, so that's a big deal to be at manager or above. The other thing I want to touch on just briefly, because you may hear some stuff about it, and I want you to hear this part at least from me first, and what we've had conversations regarding some of the things in regards to incentives. Isogenics sent out a email the beginning of the week about their opinions on what we should and shouldn't do with incentives, and they really want us to focus the incentives on growth. Okay, so they don't want to remove that. They made it very clear that there's certain things that they don't want to do. They don't want us to do, but they left it completely wide open and intentionally wide open about the things that they're fine with. And the things they're fine with are incentivizing for growth, basically helping people turn into consultants and incentivizing people who become a consultant or become a manager, become a director, or are your team leaders, right? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the things that are going to be important to know, important to remember when you're hearing other things, right? Because who knows what everybody else's, opinions about the opinion is going to be. But I've had long conversations with several of the other leaders, and not just leaders within our upline or my upline or all of our uplines, but actually team leaders from other groups that are saying, look, the business is built because of people's ability to make things happen. And we make things happen by bringing more people onto our team. Right? I mean, this business is a business of managing a lot of what they refer to it as a high turnover sales force and team building. Okay, so your sales force is high turnover, right? So people that come on your team, they leave regularly and then they move on to something else because it's simple, but it's not easy, right? So, but we want to reward those people, and we want to really help those people that want to stay on and grow with us. And that's a super, super important thing to do, and super important thing to remember is that's what we need to be. Isogenics is a $1 billion company now. We made $1 billion in our annual sales. And that puts us in a whole new level. I read a deal just the other day. It says that there are 200 million companies in the world, and less than 2,000 of them ever reach $1 billion status. Okay, so we're literally a 1%, a fraction. Actually, it's not even 1%. It's a fraction of a percent of companies that actually ever make it to $1 billion in sales. So it's a huge, huge thing. And we are all smack dab in the middle of the absolute best time to be in this business and growing. And, I don't have any crystal ball or anything, but I'm telling you right now, from now through the next 5 years is going to be the time to be jumping on board and building your teams, because soon it's going to become it's going to become a Mary Kay. It's going to become something along those lines where, everybody's aware of it, and it's just a matter of who that you buy your products from. I really think it's going to become it's going to become a household name and a household brand. And with that in mind, I really encourage you. I want to touch on this real quick. Is Jill and I had a conversation, and it's her comment and not mine. So I'm going to put it out there. But the comment that she made was, we're always told, right? Don't put isogenics on your page. Don't put isogenics on your page. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But here's the reality. You should put isogenics on your page, at least on occasion, and maybe even more than on occasion as you become a builder. And the reason for that is that as isogenics becomes more of a household name, when somebody hears about it, you want them to think about you, right? You want somebody to go, oh, isogenics. Oh, I know my friend does that, right? Because if everybody just thinks that you do some sort of nutrition, but maybe you don't sell it, quote unquote, then when somebody's looking for it, they sign up with somebody else and going, oh, well, I started with them because I didn't realize that you sold it, right? They just thought that you were somehow involved with it, right? So I know that we've all been coached on this whole idea of not putting it all over your Facebook page, and in some degrees don't put it on there at all. And maybe it's still true, kind of what we've coached, and that is, for the first 90 days, just so people don't go searching it all up. But the reality is, at some point, you need to reconsider the fact that you are an actual builder. And when you are an actual builder, then it does make sense to make sure that people know that you are with isogenics. If we're with any other company in the world, we put down what company we work for. People say, oh, who do you work for? I work for this company, right? Or I work with this company. That's my response. I work with this company. I work with a company that does nutrition, and we help people, get healthier, and we also work with wealth building. So that's kind of my normal response. And that's what I'm going to encourage you guys to kind of start incorporating in your conversation, because as you grow in this business, you want people, when they think isogenics in your social network, right? In your social network, when they think the word isogenics or they hear the word isogenics, I want them to think of you, right? Because I certainly want my network of people, if they think about isogenics, to think of me, right? So just some food for thought. So anyway, so with that, I'm going to introduce Dan Ferguson. Dan is an executive on the team. He's also a principal, and has a family of his own to deal with. So the dad of 4 lovely girls, and husband of a lovely wife, and he has a lot on his plate. And like we all know, if you want to get something done, you find a busy person. If you find somebody that doesn't have anything to do and they're complaining about the fact that this is going to take too much time, then that's probably not the person you want on your team anyway. At least not as a builder. As a consumer, maybe, but not as a builder. Dan came on board a little over a year ago. He started his team with a lot of different ideas, and has worked the incentive model to grow his team, or to grow the portion of the team that he's on. I know he doesn't like to be called his team anymore than I like to be called my team, our team collectively. Within the team that he is a part of, there's about 500 and something people now, and I know they just made over 500. And so with that, congratulations to all of you guys that are on Life Changer. Dan, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm on my cell phone because I just got home from work, and my Mac stinks right now. That spinning wheel of death. So you Mac users know what that means. Well, I had no idea what to talk about today, and I threw it out on Team Shady on what some ideas are, and really what it came down to, I was thinking, understanding that we're all at different levels. Really what my thought was, okay, what are the top 5 mistakes I made while starting out? And when I say starting out, it's either as a product user or as a building my team. And I've made a lot of mistakes. And when I say the top 5, I really wrote down 4, and then I looked and realized I needed a 5th. And funny part is Brent actually just kind of talked about one. So I understand many of you have either gone through this already, And there could be some aha moments. But if you are, I'm in my 13th month of Isogenics, and if nothing else, what I say to you now, it might remind you of something that you did or someone on your team did, and hopefully you can coach them, because sometimes we forget our own experiences. So the first mistake that I made, and I made it with the first person I enrolled, so that was pretty easy to start, is I assumed the pack that they wanted is the pack I started with. So and here are these teachable moments, is find out and think about what pack you started with and familiarize yourself with all of the other packs, okay? And
Cool.
the funny part is, when I was thinking about what am I going to share with you today, I realized I have so many shortcomings in my own development that I was like, yeah, I got to tell them to do this. And oh, by the way, I don't do it myself. So here's an example. In our team, and PK Smith has talked about this, you know, the Chevy, the Buick, the Cadillac, that sort of thing. And if they can't afford the Cadillac, if they buy the Buick, that's okay. That's the, you know, for us, it's the 30-day, the pace setter, and the President's Pack. Okay. But we are starting to diversify our team. We are getting more athletes on it.
Hey, Dan, hang on a second. I got to figure out who's causing the noise here. Okay. Actually, it was my lovely wife. So I fixed it, though. So
He's been known to make a lot of noise.
Shaw by name, but it was her fault.
Fair enough.
All right.
So the first mistake is only knowing your pack that you started on and knowing that well, and diversify your understanding of the other packs. As I mentioned, we are starting to get more athletes. So do I know the performance pack as well as the pack I started on? And the other part is, so know the many different packs depending on their lifestyles. But the second one, and that is, don't assume, and I do this all the time, don't assume what people can afford. I came from very modest means by growing up, so getting the price under $300 for whatever reason is where my mindset is at. So when they say free shipping, I'm like, okay, well, the 30 days, $272 plus enrollment, that's $300. If it's free ship, you know. But ultimately, in my mind, the best deal bang for your buck, that pace setter is unbelievable because you can get $140 in products for another $100. Here's where my huge shortcoming is. I still, to this day, now David would say, that's okay, just say here, give him your phone, but I don't know the absolute benefit of the Ageless Essentials. What do I know? If I enroll 5 people in a month, I get a free box of them. So I'm motivated to do that. Or the first 10 people I enroll, I get a free box each time. So I need to investigate the vitamins more, and that's one of the reasons, other than just obviously cost, but I can't communicate the importance of vitamins. Now, when someone who's extremely fit says to me, well, yeah, the vitamins work well because ultimately it prepares my body to accept the nutrients from the shakes, that makes sense to me, but I need to understand it more. I can't identify, I can't tell you. When someone says, well, yeah, if you take the PM and you add another vitamin to it, you know, someone's doing more research than me. So ultimately, where's your number one mistake in that respect? Know the multiple packs, know who the consumer is, and don't assume for the consumer that they want to start the pack that you started with, especially if it's a 30-day. The first person I enrolled happens to be with us still today, and it's Jill Miker. You may have heard her name once or twice. I started her on a 30-day pack because she was a stay-at-home mom that has several children and a single income provider, and I assumed she couldn't afford the President's Pack. 3 weeks later after she enrolled, she bought a President's Pack. So I missed out on that PIV, imagine that. So that first mistake, again, don't assume what people can afford and know the packs more than just your own pack that you started with, okay? Second mistake I made that so many people, if you haven't made a tree placement mistake, then you haven't enrolled enough people, because you got to enroll more, much more quickly than that. So you're like, oh my goodness, I meant to put them on the other side or whatever it is. So a couple things of tree placement. Number one is enroll your spouse today, tomorrow. when on your inside leg, and Brent has done a ton of reasons for that, but there's a huge difference between enrolling your spouse and ranking advancing them to consultant. But I would, if you haven't enrolled your spouse, if you're on this call, then you are a builder, or you are someone who aspires to be a builder. Enroll your spouse on your inside leg today. So at any point in time in the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, when someone else enrolls them under you, or if it's on your inside leg and you've already enrolled some people, have them start accumulating some business volume. Okay. One of the things about the inside leg, and again, Brent has done several videos on this, what I've realized is enrolling my spouse on the inside leg isn't so much about me, or when my people, and Steve Munzer's on this, and he did last week's broadcast. The importance of him enrolling his spouse on the inside leg for the person who enrolled him, it really wasn't about Steve. It was about that sponsor. Is if Steve and his wife aren't committed to the program, but the first person they enroll is, and they're on Steve's outside leg, then his sponsor has an opportunity to grow another person. So it's a weird concept to think about, but by enrolling your spouse on your inside leg, you are honoring the fact that you're going to give your sponsor a potential builder on your outside leg. Okay, they will have an opportunity to have that person grow. Again, it's kind of interesting that it works out that way. You enrolling your spouse is actually respecting your sponsor and saying, you know what, you helped me grow, you mentored me. No, whether I do this or not, this person I want you to have access to, and everybody you enroll will be under that person. So again, it is a bit of a thoughtful mindset that you are making sure that the first person you enroll on the outside leg will be supported by the same person that supported you. Okay. I don't expect everybody to understand that, but if you play that back and you look at your tree and you're like, okay, I don't get it, is basically the first person you enroll that's not a spouse, if they are on your outside leg, they will be in direct contact with the person who enrolled you. Okay. Also on tree placement, keep your people that are financially linked, socially linked, and know each other, keep them linked on their tree. An example, mine is I have people I work with on one side of my tree, coaches and teachers on one side of my tree, dance moms that we meet through our parent groups on one side of my tree, my family, high school friends, college friends on the other side of my tree. And the rationale for this is when people see other people enrolling under them that they don't know, that is a great day. You're like, I'm getting business volume for somebody I've never met before. How cool is that? But the other part is maybe they know them, but they didn't enroll them. Those are people that, absolutely in this business, when someone enrolls someone that you know and you're like, oh man, I wanted to enroll that person. If they are enrolled under you, then you are financially linked to them. In essence, you didn't make the product introductory bonus. Okay then. Okay. Again, I'll use specific examples. In my profession, I have teachers. In my building, I have access to 30 teachers. I think I've enrolled 3. How many of them are on our team? About 10. I'm fine with that. I don't need to enroll them. Seriously, I think I've enrolled 3 out of 30, but we've got 10 or more on our team because other people on our team enrolled, and they enjoy each other and they benefit from each other financially. So tree placement, have people that know each other work together. If it means you're going to sacrifice not cycling, well, I can't say this enough. Oh my goodness, I can't say this enough. Who cares about the next cycle? You're a business builder, and yep, I want to make $54, no doubt about it. But if you can put someone else under a builder for you and they cycle, if you create a cycle for them by giving them someone, oh my goodness, unbelievable. Okay, so give up your cycle by putting them logistically so they are financially linked to someone that they benefit from. Okay, still about tree placement. Number 1, This was my biggest mistake. Don't try to be smarter than Isagenix. I thought I found a better way. This recommended life, recommended left and right and that sort of thing. I tried to outsmart Isagenix because I think, okay, my mind, I know what they're doing and they don't want to. One of the things I tried to do when I enrolled my wife, okay, I enrolled people under my name on my wife's inside because I wanted right away to double cycle, double count, where if my wife cycles, then she cycles for $54 and I cycle for $54. Okay. In theory, that makes perfect sense. But for multi-level marketing, and again, I'm still kind of trying to get used to saying that term, it does not make sense at all. It is so self-serving and it is not about supporting the team. If I put someone on my wife's inside leg, I do not plan on building on that leg for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. How is that person ever going to see the support from me by placing people under them and accumulating business volumes? The only thing I did, and I know that now, but at the time I'm like, oh man, I can make double the cycle and I can incentivize my team. I thought, and I've said this before, almost to a detriment, okay? I haven't in 13 months profited $1 for my next to pay for something. I incentivized our team and our growth and all, whatever. I've paid for trips. Yes, no doubt about it. But I thought, man, if I made more money, I could help our team out. So I promise you, my incentive or my motivation wasn't to be selfish to double cycle, but I did think I was smarter than Isagenix. And ultimately what happened, I enrolled 2 or 3 people inside of my wife who absolutely, even if they wanted to build, they couldn't effectively because they would have to build both sides of their legs. So I will tell you now, 13 months later, I have over 500 people, probably approaching 550 below me. And I have one builder that said, nope, I'm never going to do this on my wife's inside leg. And I've just shared with them, when I enroll, I'm going to go enroll one on my right, one on my left, and one inside my wife. Okay. It's taken me 13 months and I haven't put one person under them, but 13 months later, I'm about to do it. I'm fortunate to be able to do that. Okay, and I talked about that. Okay, so number 1 mistake, know the packs. Don't just assume people want to buy, who have to buy the pack that you started with. Tree placement. Enroll your spouse right away on your inside leg. So you can do exactly what I talked about. My wife is the first person I enrolled on my inside leg. Okay, actually it's the opposite. It's the outside leg. My inside leg is far greater than my outside leg, whatever. And she has about 130 people, 150 people under her now. When we can build under her, that'll be a good day for us. Okay, we're not there yet. Third mistake I made is just by how I order the product. I order the product so differently now. And I'm not following people asking questions or whatever because I'm on my iPhone. So Brent or whomever, if we want to stop or ask or answer questions, I'm certainly interested in doing that.
No, I've got it. I've got them, Dan. If anything comes up, I'm jotting down some notes here, so I'll
Okay. Okay. Number 1, and this sounds simple now because I understand it, but people that are early on in this, they might not be aware of this. But ultimately, and I like this term Business Center 1, and that's for the person who is the primary enroller in your house or in your family. Business Center 2 would be your spouse or significant other or someone else. I think of it from, let's talk about my ISA wallet or when I pay for products. I'm Business Center 1, and it really doesn't matter whether it's myself or my wife, Jennifer, whoever is, and her spot is Business Center 2. And perhaps an adult child is Business Center 3, or my mother is Business Center 3, who I order about for 4 people in my family. Okay, so what I've done in the past that has really screwed up is I love that 10% off thing. Okay, so I buy 6 products or 6 of everything at a time. And there's some huge advantage to that. If I get 6 Ionic Supreme, I always order it in 6. But what you want to do is order up to 100 BV or just more than 100 business volumes in your Business Center 1. So on your highest point within your household, or within the orders that you, either as a primary grower, at the highest point in your tree that you order between 100 and 110 business volumes and no more, okay, every 29 days. If, let's say, again, in my home, I make 4 orders, but let's say 3, because I think I order a lot compared to some others, okay? Let's say you have 3 orders that you're primarily responsible for. You, your spouse or significant other, and another family member, or let's be honest, if you're a builder and you've got a sibling that you've been helping maintain being a consultant, that's my life, okay? I order at least for 1 or 2 of my consultants to maintain their consultant status. It just is what it is, but it's way down on my tree. Business Center 1 orders between 100 and 110 business volumes, and that's it. Business Center 2, between 100 and 110 business volumes, and that's it. Business Center 3 orders everything else as much as we can, as far down the tree as possible. And what that does is it impacts everyone between that person and myself and shares that business volume. Imagine if it did it the exact opposite. Again, and there's 550 people on our team, and if I ordered 250 business volumes from Business Center 1 and each of them were 100, then my team gets my 250. Nope, just me. I get 250. My wife is my first enrollment with Jill Miker. So I would get my 250, my wife's 100, and my sibling, who's probably down 50 people down on my tree, if they would only order 100, that person would get 100 BV and the 50 people between us. So that's 50 times 100, that's 5,000 business volumes for Team Life Changer. Okay, if we did it in that order, we have 5,350 business volumes. Okay, again, this sounds like a lot of math, but ultimately, let's just flip it around a little bit. If I ordered 100, my wife ordered 100, so I get 100, my wife's 100, so between the 2 of us, there's 200. But 50 people down the line, my sibling orders 250 BV. That's 250 times 50 people. And you math teachers do that math, okay? That's, I don't know, 15,000-ish. I don't know. 50 times 250. It's like 12.5. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a heck of a lot more than doing it the other way around. So what big mistake did I make? I've made, well, I'm the primary person. I'm going to make the primary order, and I'm going to make this 200 business volume. Like it makes me more of a man or something. I don't know. The highest up on your tree, order as close to 100 as possible. As far down on the tree as possible. Order as much as you can to satisfy all the other orders. Okay. Business Center orders. Okay, and it isn't just mine. But look on your tree, and this is, I'm giving you homework. Again, I work in a school. Look on your tree under your personally enrolled, and look on that right column where it says orders within the past 30 days. Find anyone that you've personally enrolled that has more than 200 business volumes. If anyone on your team is ordering more than 200 business volumes and they're an associate, they're about to be a consultant in the next 10 days if you do this. Okay, again, how do I get consultants? Write this down. If you have an individual that's ordering over 200 business volumes a month, they are ordering enough for 2 people with their own family consumption. All you have to tell them is, I don't want you ordering any more, any less, just enroll your significant other, maintain your 200 business volume orders, and we need to find you 1 person. And if we can find you 1 person, you'll become a consultant, and now you'll cycle when you and your spouse every other month. If you don't enroll anyone else, then you'll cycle. ultimately, if anyone already orders 200 BV a month, they don't have to change their spending habit. They don't have to change their consumption habit. They just simply have to take their order, break it in half, and find one person. So I would love to hear that success story, that someone reaches out to Brent and said, yep, I looked at my tree. I had 3 people ordering over 200. I reached out to them and said, just break your order in half and find one person. You can become a consultant and you can get, I don't know, half of your products, a third of your products paid for just by doing that. So business center order, that was my third error early on, okay? Number 4, and this screams to May 3rd for us. We have a reputation of our launch parties being successful, and we had a great string of it, and we do a nice job, and our team really does a nice job. Great energy off each other, okay? But on May 3rd, the people that ran that launch, we had 60 enrollments during that period. 17 of them became consultants. So 51 of the 60 were connected to each other by a U+2 model. The problem with that is we had individuals, one looks a lot like this guy, Rasha, that wanted to rank advance, and he gave away 3, 4 of his own personally enrolled. I gave away, out of 60, again, I was like, well, I got plenty to spare. I'm going to give away some of my personally enrolled to make consultants, because so many people, have you heard this before, said, oh, if you just give me one, I can get the other one, and then I can be a consultant. So here's this mistake. Don't ever, 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 ever give away your personal enrolled people, because if someone can't get 2 to become a consultant, they will not get 2 later, and you will be paying for that other leg, that other person, for that order until you replace that consultant. I don't buy consultants. I don't buy for this. I've purchased 1 pack for someone out of 550, and it was terrible. I learned from that mistake that, but the other part is I don't pay for people to become consultants to get them there, because if they don't have anything invested, they have to get their own people. If they don't get their own people, they won't stick around long enough for me to get paid a return on my investment. So don't give your people away. Even if you say, oh, if I give 2 people away, I'm at a manager, I've got 5 consultants, I know these 2 people will sign, I'm going to put them under my friend, make them a consultant, have them start getting paid, and I'll be a director. Yeah, you'll be a director, and then take your director pool money to pay for those people when they don't reorder and your people don't get enrolled again. Don't do it. I promise you, it will be an expensive investment if you give away your people. The other part to this, if Jill Bowman gave away Brent Shaw, and remember, Brent Shaw went 11 months and you used the product and didn't, okay? And Brent doesn't give me access to many things, including his checkbook, but I have heard he's like a 5-star, 6-star, whatever, I don't know. But let's just say this for easy math. I know Brent's hit 100 cycles. Yep, said it. I think he's hit north of 100, but let's say for easy math, because Jill Bowman enrolled Brent Shaw, every week, because Jill Bowman is an executive, she gets 10% of Brent Shaw's cycles. If Brent Shaw cycles 100 times in a week, Jill Bowman makes 10 cycles a week on Brent Shaw. Jill Bowman makes $540 a week on Brent Shaw. Jill Bowman makes $2,160 on Brent Shaw. I'm glad she didn't give them away. 2,000, that's good float. Don't give your people away. All right, I think that makes sense. And when about don't give your people away and talking about your spouse, okay, and some people might, I've said this before, I may have almost gotten a fist fight with one of my guys and this is where they say, oh, he's talking about us, honey. Don't make your spouse a consultant unless they are going to be the last person to become either a director or an executive. If you have 5 consultants and you are one consultant away from getting in the director's pool or becoming a crystal director, then consider making your spouse a consultant. But don't forget, whoever you're putting on your spouse's inside leg has to be a consumer, not a builder, because you don't plan on helping that person build for several months. So for me, I made my wife a consultant right away because, that's not fair. If I'm a consultant, then I want her to be a consultant so she can start making money. Oh my goodness. You rank advance. Business Center 1 rank advance, and you're going to make more money in the director pool than your wife is going to make or your husband's going to make as a manager making 2 shares a week in the holiday pool. Do this math. Is a director pool share at between $60 and $100 worth more than $12 a week for your spouse being a manager? It's easy math. So don't rank advance your spouse to consultant unless it makes you rank advance to either director or executive. And again, I guess I'm very interested in Brent's opinion on that too, on the timing wise of it. You know, if your spouse is a consultant and you're at 5 and you've got a month left until a crystal director, you know, do you hurry your spouse along? Do you try to get another one? But so some people may have different opinions, and this isn't gospel, by the way. This is just my understanding. And I still feel terrible because I've got a builder on my wife's inside leg because I was in such a hurry to make her a consultant because I thought it was the right thing to do. As a man, if I'm going to rank advance, then I want the woman who's been behind me for so much, you know, check your ego at the doors. Change your recognition name for both your names. So anytime you rank advance, they get the same credit. And trust me, they'll get access to that director pool and executive pool money, and they'll say, that's fine. You keep rank advancing and keep sending me a couple dollars my way. Deal. Okay? And, okay, last thing for you. Again, of the 5 things, no more packs than just the one you started with. Don't assume what people want. Don't assume what they can afford. Second is tree placement. Make sure your spouse is on the inside. Keep people of the same demographics together. And don't try to be smarter than Isogenics. It says recommended for a reason. Okay? Business Center orders is order your largest order as far down on the tree as absolutely possible. Okay? Your orders at the top of your tree should be between 100 and 110 and no more. You're wasting business volume, anything more than that. Number 4, don't give your people away. They're too hard to come by. Okay? Even if you're on a roll and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got so many, that rush will stop. Keep them as your own. And the last one, and it was actually one of the first things that Brent talked about, is we had to shift the mindset of our team because of our launch party approach. And I'm going to, Brent says this once or twice, so I'm going to say it too. And I guess when you say it, here's one of my pet peeves is someone says, well, you know, no disrespect, but, and then I realize the next thing they're going to say is going to disrespect me, and I tend not to listen, okay? But let me be clear on this. Our approach on our incentives structure for launches has been admired and respected by many and criticized by others. What I will tell you, and this is what I'll admit to, and that is our approach on launches is basically we want to bring people in a price that they're comfortable with and be a part of our team. But this is the new model for us. And it's not new from an email. It's been a new model for quite some time. And that's really under Brent's leadership and Tracy's leadership. As a rule, put these 2 words somewhere down, incentivize growth. Okay? And again, Brent stole my thunder a little bit by saying this, but instead of finding one person and saying, hey, if you enroll someone, I'll pay them $29 of their enrollment fee, okay? Because that's real popular for me. I always tell my team, by the way, don't ever extend past $29. It's too big of an investment. If they can't step up, they need more skin in the game. I don't write more than $29 that I've invested previously. But what I want to understand now is, if I say to someone, if you enroll 2 people and you become a consultant, then Isagenix will give you $50. In my head, if I was prepared to help them with $29 or a team of people, if I say, well, you know what, Isagenix will give you 50, because that's growth, I'll pay a rank advancement of another $50. Okay? So look at opportunities for your team to rank advance. And what they choose to do with that money to disperse is entirely up to them. This is something that we've had to defend before. At no time do we ever mandate that any consultant or new enrollee or whatever pays it forward. Okay? However, if I model that personally, that, you know what, if you become a consultant, okay, by the way, the first 20 people that I personally enrolled to become a consultant, I make $100. So if I give $50 of that to someone because they rank advanced, I'm net positive 50. That sounds like a good investment. Okay, so those of you, whether you agree or disagree with incentives and models and launch parties and paying for shipping or enrollment or whatever, again, Brent was pretty clear about this. What is abundantly clear is find a way to grow. And if someone looks to be a builder and growth, and this is a completely different mindset for me. For me, it goes back to my modest means and upbringing. I want people to start the product for the lowest investment possible so they can get hooked on the product and they love it, okay? Isagenix has, in essence, said you have to switch your mindset. Instead of getting people for the lowest amount possible, reward people for sharing their journey, going outside of their comfort zone and helping them grow. So what I plan on doing personally in our team is embracing that U+2 model. We have, out of 550 people, I think 3 or 4 of them were crystal managers. That is so tough. If you're a crystal manager and not on a reset, a legit crystal manager, you're wicked awesome. You stepped outside your comfort zone early on. You're either an oversharer. I don't know what you are, but you're way better than I ever was. But if someone, perhaps you could say, you know what, on my team, we're going to do a crystal manager reset. Give someone 30 days to have 2 personally enrolled consultants become a manager and say, well, Isagenix would give you $250. Our team would give you $125, half of that. I don't know what you can afford, but for growth, put challenges to your team. It shifts a little bit away from paying for their enrollment or paying for their shipping, or, you know, we can get you this pace setter pack for the cost of a 30-day. Isagenix is pretty clear. They want you to go in a different direction. But my question to you is, do your associates know what a manager is? Because ours, to be honest with you, most of them don't. One guy I sat with on July 1st, and I said, we're going to have a party on July 1st. We had 13 people come up, and we assigned 11 or whatever it is, and he went from an associate to a manager at one setting because we had a plan to do that. Here's the honest truth. That was 6 months ago. Haven't done it since. Why? I don't know. It was a really good idea. It took time. And it was a teacher that had summers off because they don't, you know. But we had a plan, and we took 3 weeks from July 1st, and then we had a launch party July 19th, and we enrolled 47 people after the 1st to the 19th. But we went with a plan, and we incentivized growth. So my 5th mistake before is trying to get people in for a small investment. I don't want to devalue the product, because if you can have them come in for a lower amount of money, then they do get shocked and awe of, oh my goodness, to reorder, it's going to cost me another $200, to maintain my business volume. So instead of devaluing a product on an initial order, find creative ways to incentivize growth. And the last question I have for you is, if you're going to incentivize someone to be, let's say, a manager, the thing I ask my team, if they put 5 people under you, how much would it be worth to you? That you don't know their names, they're people you've never met before, but would you put $10 a piece towards someone becoming a crystal manager, incentivizing growth, if they put 5 people under you that you'd never met before? And that's a standing offer that I say to my team. Put 5 people under me and I'll put $50 towards a manager or a rank advancement. Okay? That's a different mindset. It's a different education. But that has worked for us, and we have a lot of work to do. So that's all I have. In another long story short, we made a lot of mistakes. But the people that we enroll don't make the same ones that we did, and that's the important thing. So thanks a lot for having me, and yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
All right, Dan. Well, thanks, man. That's great info, and I'm going to touch over a couple of things that you touched on, and then as I'm doing that, if anybody's got questions, go ahead and click the little raise your hand button, and we'll touch on those. But I made some notes here, Dan, as you were going along, and you had some great points, and I will accept the fact that you've definitely changed your mindset from the last 60, 90 days, and I think it's awesome, man. And we all go through changes, right? I mean, it was just 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that I was like, well, I suppose we're still not supposed to put isogenics on our Facebook page, and now I'm like, Jill gave me the suggestion. I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that, right? It makes sense, right? So don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to change. And anybody that scoffs at you for changing, I guess I would tell you to look past that and just keep on rocking, because we all are going to make some mistakes. And just like Dan said, just make sure that the people that you bring on board, at least you try to make them aware of the possible pitfalls. Now, if they go ahead and dig their own hole and they jump in it, that's not your fault, right? If you tell them, hey, look, don't do this, and then they go ahead and do it, it's not your fault. We have times a lot where people will say, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, well, I've never, ever seen you on a team call. So I'm really not going to feel bad that you say you don't know how to do it, because all the resources are there, right? So again, make sure your people stay engaged, keep them engaged in the pages, keep them engaged in learning, and it'll save us all some headaches. But spouse enrollment, huge, Dan. That's a huge, huge, huge one. And is make sure that your spouse is enrolled. If your spouse is not enrolled in this business program, if you can enroll them, then you've got to enroll them. You've got to have them there. If nothing else, they're just sitting there holding a spot, or someday they might do something. Okay. To answer your question, you're exactly right. I would not recommend making a spouse into a consultant unless it made you a crystal something. But I would say that counts for making you a crystal manager. So if it makes you crystal manager and you can make $250 out of it, then make your spouse a crystal manager, because understand that you can turn that, this is going to sound funny, right? Just because I'm a guy, you can turn that spouse position on or off, right? Just by, allowing that position to order or not. But if you place an order and it makes that spouse position it turns that spouse position into a consultant, then, and you make the extra $250 for making consultant or manager bonus, which just FYI, it's getting ready to get better, then you're going to benefit from that move, right? Then you let that spouse position turn back, right? Just goes back to inactive. If it's not self-sustaining, leave it alone. Then when you wait a little bit longer and then it becomes an opportunity to make director, turn that spot back on. You've got 5, you need 1 more, turn that manager, that spouse position back on. Now you've got 6, you're up and running. Keep it running for 90 days or as long as you're in the pool. Let it go dormant again if you haven't replaced it with a real consultant, right? And when you're at 10, or 5 right, 4 left, and your spouse has to be on your left, turn the spouse position back on, make yourself an executive, work towards replacing that spouse's position, okay? Huge, huge, huge idea. It's a massive, and it's the absolute best concept that you can do, right? There's no reason not to enroll your spouse into your business opportunity. There's just no reason not to do it. If you go through your team, one of the things another thing I noted, if you go through your team and you see someone who has, who is ordering a bunch of volume, you click on, team, view placement tree, back office, and then you get to the point where you're seeing that they're that they've got a bunch of, that they're ordering, 4, 5, 600 BV per week. And I've seen that, or not per week, but per month. You need to go in and educate that person as to the value of turning themselves into a consultant. They're going to make $50 just for becoming a consultant. And if you're personally enrolled and you haven't enrolled 20 consultants already, you're going to make $100 for calling them and telling them, hey, look, there's a better way to do this. Now, they don't have to do that over and over and over again. I've got a guy on my team. He's a great cyclist. He uses the product. He does phenomenally well in his regular business. He has no desire to build his isogenics business, but he's enrolled his wife and his son, and he goes in there and he places his orders. And when he's got enough personal holding volume that it makes sense, then he goes and places a couple orders, one under his wife, one under his son, and he takes all that money back, right? Boom, done, right? So every so often he cycles 4 or 5 times because he saves all that volume up, and then off he goes again, right? So if you go through your team and you see people that have massive holding volume, personal holding volume, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Let's see here. I'm going to show you that. Let's see, where's share screen? Okay, this is what that looks like, right? This is somebody's back office, and if you look here, you'll see that this person has 825 BV of personal holding volume, okay? They have a left side sales team where they've collected 855 BV, and they've got a right side sales team where they've collected 264 BV, all right? So if I have contacted this person, but they're not interested right now, but that's okay. So if this person, and the reason, just so you know, the reason I have all these zeros here is because if you do not have an auto ship, this is a very important thing to teach people. If you do not have an auto ship, then you do not collect volume that comes from anybody other than your own personally enrolled, your personal orders and your personally enrolled are the only people that you collect volume from. Okay, so this person happens to be on a team where there's a lot more volume going on than this. But the only volume that he's collecting are from the people that this person personally enrolled, okay? And then obviously their own personal volume. But let's say that person decides that they're going to enroll a couple people and that's going to help them to cycle. What the software system will do, because you need 300 points on one side and 600 points on the other in order to cycle. So what the software would do is the software would take the volume out of here that's needed to make this 300. So what is that, 36 BV? So take 36 BV out of here, make that 300, take 600 out of there, and they would get one cycle for that. And then it would take that remaining volume, which is 700 and something. It'd take that 700 and something volume and cause another cycle to happen here. So this person is sitting on $108 plus another 50 for becoming a consultant. Of course, it looks like they've been a consultant once before, so they wouldn't get that 50. But they can cycle and make the income to make that, they get their money back, $108 back, right? For what, right? Going in and making, showing your people how to do something, or continuing to spread the word, or sharing, or enrolling another person, whatever it takes. But this is how you go through your team. And this is right here is what you're looking for. Anytime you go through your team and you see personal holding volume, this is the volume that they're earning by placing their order for their monthly shipment. And as long as they place it at least 29 days, okay, this person's active until January 29th. So as long as they place their next order before the 29th, so the January 28th or sooner, then this number will increase by the exact amount of their volume. So if they order 200 BV, they're going to have 1,025 BV sitting there. Okay. If they wait until the 29th of January or 3 to 4 days after that, this number will only increase by the number of by their BV minus 100. So if they place 100 BV, if they place a 200 BV order, then this is only going to increase by 100 BV. Okay, because the first 100 is going to be gone. It's going to go up the tree. All right. So that's an important thing to recognize there. Okay, is to know that that's how that's what I want you to do when I'm talking about going and looking for your personal holding volume. Linked networks, Dan, again, perfect comment. In as many opportunities as you can, we have a couple of team members that are part of a couple different airlines so sometimes, people that are really close friends end up not on the network of the most of the airline people, and I've got the same thing, right? I've got a lot of cops friends, so some of my cops are all on linked networks, but some of them aren't. But some of them don't like each other anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if as best you can, you do want to keep your networks together, right? So try to keep your networks together. Dan's inside leg comment, just to kind of further clarify that. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that share screen here. Hang on a second. When you're talking about signing somebody on the inside leg, what we want to do is, and why we do that, right? Let's go down here to this person, okay? So again, just so everybody's on the same page, Veronica's outside leg, right, is the elongation of this blue arrow, okay? So this is her arrow pointing up. This is the elongation of her blue arrow, right? This is her inside leg, okay? The inside leg is here. I guess she does have an auto ship. I didn't see that. So this is her inside leg here. What we would coach Veronica to do is we would coach Veronica to be sure to enroll your spouse here, right? And then enroll your best, your first enrollment on your outside leg. And the reason is, let's imagine that these two spots are not here. Okay, let's just imagine there's nobody there. If Marissa is not a spouse, right, then we're going to say that by putting her, nice, thank you. So by putting Marissa there, if Marissa's just a friend, right, and Veronica quits, and Marissa decides to build, then Marissa's going to have to build on her own. Now, it can be done, right? And just like Lena said, it can be done if you get put in a position where your blue arrow, because if I click on Marissa's name, right, you're going to see her arrow is going to point up and to the left. Guys, hold down. You're going to point up and to the left. Then you're going to see that she's pointing up here, right? So if this person up here quits, hang on a second. Shut that door, please. If this person up here above them quits, then they're going to quit, right? I'm sorry, if this person above them quits, then Marissa's stuck. There's nobody going to be helping her add people below her, which again, isn't the end of the world, but you don't want to set people up for failure, right? If you set it up and they still don't listen, right, there's nothing you can do about that. But just don't intentionally do it to somebody, right? So in Marissa's case, right, her inside leg would be over here. So we would show Marissa, enroll your spouse here, and then enroll your friend over here. When that happens, when she enrolls the spouse over here and she enrolls her friend over here, if Marissa quits, spouse is going to quit, but the upline here is still going to continue to build. So that's what's going to cause, if this is the friend, that's what's going to cause this person to be enrolled and the next person, the next person, the next person. So there's going to be support there in the event that happens. So that's what Dan was talking about as far as making sure to enroll your spouse have a coach to enroll your spouse on your inside leg. Now, here's the difference. Somebody on this team that's listening tonight or you're coaching somebody and they're already a builder. They're building left, right, they're building left, right, 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 left, left, and they've got it going on. And they go, wow, I never enrolled my spouse. Pick a side, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right, left, whatever. Just get them enrolled, right? I would encourage you to put your spouse on your minor volume side, at least at the moment. So whatever side is your minor volume side. And the reason I would tell you to do that is because when you've got to place an order under your spouse for some reason, that's going to help you to cycle. Okay. If they're on your major volume side and you've got excess volume over there and you place an order on your spouse, then it's not going to propel you toward an additional cycle. So at the moment, if they don't have, if they're already a builder, then the side that I would tell you to enroll your spouse on is your minor volume side. Okay. And that's why we tell people to enroll them on the inside leg, because in most people's case, not everybody's case on this call we're talking on, but in most people's case, your outside leg is going to be your major volume leg, but that's not always the case, okay?
Brent, if I can, I just wanted to add, I am not the Jill Bowman story, but I'm close in that, and I want to say this thoughtfully. The person that enrolled me changed my life. There's flat out no doubt about it. And as a result of our team's success, that person who's enrolled me does not have a financial incentive to enroll people under me.
Correct.
Because so we're clear, out of our 550, and I mean this, and I want to be open and honest about this. There is currently less than 10 people, and probably closer to 5, active that were not brought on by my personally enrolled or the people that I personally enrolled, who they enrolled. Right. So I want to say this thoughtfully. So I am that guy. I am on the inside leg of someone who's building, doing well, but, and I've said it and I've tried to be gracious about it, and I'm going to continue to be gracious about it, is he changed my life and we're going to do our best we can, but I don't see a whole lot of unfamiliar names enrolled under me because he just simply doesn't have a financial incentive to do this today.
Well, he has a financial incentive, Dan, and his incentive is to become executive, but yeah. he hasn't gone there yet. But again, it's all about timing, right? Because at some point there's a number that happens when you realize, holy crap, my isogenics business has got the capability of providing me with more income than this other job that I've been focusing my life on. So, all right.
Actually, that's a great point. Is if to your point, what I've said before is when he places someone to become an executive, not to cycle, then it's going to be under me. So he has some tree balance. But right now his business volume balance is so kittywampus. I don't know how to spell it. His inside leg has so much volume that his community leg can't keep up with it.
Right. Okay, so continuing on a couple of topics that Dan brought up is BV at 100 or more. So again, go through your team tree, make sure that nobody's ordering, in their primary position much over 100. If they're ordering 190 or something, that's fine too. But you certainly don't want to be ordering, well into the 200s or 300 BV. Show them how to split those orders up. And show them how to become consultant, right? If you've got somebody on your team, because this just happened the other day, a conversation I was having, that is in their order, when they order for Sally and June and Jan and mom and dad and aunt and uncle, tell them to go get that person's information and get them enrolled, okay? Make themselves a consultant out of that. And now I'm going to give you even the worst case scenario of that, okay? And this person is not on our team, so I'm going to talk kind of openly about it, right? But I hear stories, right? So I get the phone call, oh my God, this happened. I'm so upset. I don't know what to do. Okay, the story goes like this. I'll use Dan and I as the example. Dan's coming to me and Dan's like, hey, Brent, will you buy my product for me? Because I don't want to enroll. Just, I just buy it. So this goes on for 6 months, right? Dan keeps telling me what he wants. I keep filling his order. He keeps picking it up at my house, or I bring it to him or whatever. And this just continues on and on and on, right? Well, what happens is Dan then is out running around and he runs into a really good friend of his that is telling him all about this incredible business opportunity with Isogenics. Now, I've told Dan about the business and I've done all this kind of stuff, right? And Dan's like, yeah, I know. I've got a friend that's kind of showed me a little bit about it, but they've been ordering my product for me, but that's it. Well, no, dude, you got to join our team, man. We got it rocking and rolling. We got it kicking. We'll make great things happen. Sign up with me and let's make this happen. Boom. Dan gets convinced. He signs up with them. And now Dan's ready to rock and roll and build a business. Okay. Dan's no longer part of my team. He signed up with somebody else, right? That's a problem for this person that had this happen to him, because they feel really, really angry with Dan, and they feel really, really angry. And since I'm looking at Angela's the one that did it. So Angela, and they're really angry at Angela, and they don't even really know Angela. They're just angry at Angela because she got Dan to enroll, right? How dare she steal Dan from me when she knew that Dan was buying product from me? Well, I got news for you, people. It's called cash. It's called business building. It's called team building. And if you don't get people if you're buying somebody's product for them and you're letting them purchase it from you, or letting them go on your online site and buy it, and you're not making them sign up to get it, like most people are, like everybody is supposed to, they are at the whim of deciding to go with another team at any given moment, any given time, right? Because as soon as somebody hears that they're doing isogenics and they walk out into the world and they go, hey, I'm doing isogenics, and then all these people that are running around that have been doing it but are too afraid to bring it up and talk about it are like, oh, well, sign up with me, right? Instead of signing up with the team that they should have signed up with, now they go sign up with Susie that doesn't have anything going on. Or in this person's case, they went and signed up with a very aggressive team builder, and they're mad. The original person is mad. You know, the Brent in this scenario is mad. I'm mad at Dan. I'm mad at Angela, and I don't even know Angela, but I'm just mad at her because she stole my friend, right? Or she stole my enrollment, right? Didn't even steal my friend, she stole my enrollment, right? Oh, Dan was going to do for me. And now imagine, and this hasn't happened yet because it's so new, but imagine if Dan becomes a builder, how mad I'm going to be, right? Oh, well, he would have been a builder for me too, and look at what I could have done, and I could have really helped my team, and I could have helped my own pockets, and I could have done all this, but you're mad. And you know who you should be mad at? Take a peek at the mirror, right? Because the person in the mirror is the person that failed to say, Dan, you want this? I'll help you out the first 30 days, right? Okay, yeah, you want to try it? No problem. I'll do it, right? We've all done it, right? But when you come back the second month and you go, hey, I really like that stuff. I want to order some more. It's time to enroll, right? Get enrolled, sign your information up, put it down. Now here's your account, enroll, order all you want, okay? Do not do that, people, I'm telling you. And if you know people that are doing it, show them how to undo it, because it's going to happen and you're going to be mad. And but again, right, I can tell you the pitfalls, but I can't keep you from digging your own hole. Let's see. We already talked about that. Find personal holding volume. And the last one, and I'll keep it with the last one, is do not, as Dan stated multiple times, do not give people away. Do not do that. And I'll tell you the stories, and we bring up Jill's name all the time. Jill was a giveaway. Okay? Jill was given away by, and since I know they're not on the call, I'll tell you who it was. So Betsy Frame, right, gave Jill to another lady, and I won't say Barb. She gave her to Barb, right? So Betsy gave Jill to Barb, okay? Because Jill only wanted a 9-day, okay? Now, you think I'm a valuable asset, right? Jill cycles 250 times by Wednesday, right? So she maxes out her Business Center 1 by like Wednesday now, I think Wednesday or Thursday. I know she's done at least once on Tuesday. So 250 cycles from Business Center 1, and probably another, I know Business Center 2 for her is up there in the 100 cycle range. So let's say it's another 100. So there's 350 cycles a week, right? So take 35, whatever 35 times 54 is, that's money, right? So that's what that person's missing out on per week, because they gave away this person that just wanted a 9-day, right? So, and that's what Jill started with. She started with a 9-day. So when you're thinking about giving somebody away, I'm telling you, don't do it. You don't know what they're going to do. You have no idea. Jill certainly wasn't somebody who needed money. She wasn't, she didn't need to do network marketing. She just found this nutrition and really thought it worked really well and became passionate about it and started telling everybody, and then it grew, right? And she was on an inside leg, and similar to what you're talking about, Dan, she was on the inside leg of somebody who instantly became, or not instantly, but very quickly had no incentive to enroll anybody on that leg, right? What doesn't need to do that. Now, much like your situation that you talked about, is the person that's above her does have a need to maintain consultants over there. So on that side, because they left it alone so long, so they do have to put people over there every now and then. And every now and then I see a new person show up, and I know the situation, so I can see it happen. But know that, and this little conversation just prevented this from ever being shared on Top Leaders. So this won't be on Top Leaders. You will not see this shown on the Top Leader list of calls that they can listen to. So anyway, the reality is it does happen, right? It does happen, people, and don't let it happen to you. Do not give your people away, right? If they can't find 2 people, they're not going to build. That's the reality. And it sucks. And I'm not trying to be mean. Just understand that that's the way it works. Okay. All right. So NYKO coming up. Tracy and I are leaving tomorrow. We're excited to be leaving tomorrow. We're heading out. I went to the bank today, pulled out some fat stacks, and we'll be doing that on Friday, Saturday night. I think it's Saturday night is the team party, whatever it is, Friday night, Saturday night. I'm not in charge of my schedule. My wife is. So we will have we'll do the team party. When you get there, if you have bought your ticket from somebody else, or if you need to transfer tickets, they're awesome at registration. Just go up to registration, get everything taken care of. Everything will be fine. They'll help you. If you have any problem, get a hold of me. If you don't have my phone number or April's phone number, message us and we'll give them to you. I can tell you, I guess I can give you both of mine. Mine's 602-370-8241. That's 602-370-8241. And April, you can either unmute or you can make me sit here and try to find yours while I'm talking on the phone here. But April can give hers out too.
Hi, it's 480-459-0568.
Okay. And Tracy's is 602-418-7233. 602-418-7233. And be honored because she doesn't even give most of her real estate clients that number. So, oh, there she is. She's sneaking up on me. I'm talking about you. So NYKO is going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to it, you guys, and it's going to be great. And some of the information that I know that's coming down is going to be huge. It's going to help us build our teams. It's going to help it's going to take some of the need to do additional incentives out of our hands, which is awesome, and I think that's why they're doing it. So let's just say that making managers is going to be a cool thing, right? And that's going to be a big deal. So if you've got some people that are getting close to manager, you need to get them closer to manager and get them to manager as soon as you can, because it's going to be a big deal to get there, because there is going to be additional money once they hit that spot and start actually cycling and doing some things there. So there is going to be some opportunities that's going to start to arise at manager level. All right. So with that, we've kind of run over our normal 1 hour by a bit. So if anybody has any questions, raise your hand. Click the little raise your hand button. I see a couple more comments down here in the chat thing, so I need to make sure we got anything. Made lots of mistakes. We all do, brother. And Dan, thanks, man, for putting in your time and effort to come on here and do this. It is highly appreciated because it becomes something that you're like, oh, man, I got to do this all the time. So next week, the person that's going to help with that's going to be our co-host and presenter. Let's see if I can give hints to who she is before she recognizes who it is. Right now, oh, she just came into the screen. Hello, next presenter. Yeah, you got light behind you. Oh yeah, you that just shook your head. No, yes, you, yes, Kelly D. So you can hit your, you can unmute yourself because next week you will be unmuted for a while. So
you're
Kelly,
crazy.
You are the presenter next week.
Are we still talking about me?
Yeah.
How did I get it?
No, Kelly D. I said, I'm sorry. You thought you were shaking your head.
No,
it was Kelly.
Lena,
You've already done yours, Lena. Yeah. No, Kelly's next to. She is getting drastically close to making executive. I know she doesn't have much else going on, so preparing to. Yeah, she's got eyeballs showing up all over the place. So Kelly is really close to hitting executive, and it's going to happen here real soon. And we're excited about that. Hopefully she makes executive before she pops out baby number 4, because I know it's on its way. When's the date, Kelly?
April.
All right. Well, that's definitely going to happen. Oh yeah, there we go. We got there it is. So very cool. Hi, buddy. So anyway, so Kelly will be helping us with presentation next Tuesday. You cool with that, Kelly?
Nope.
Yes. All right. Outstanding. So I know Kelly's always game for anything. So she's going to be in and take care of us, and you and I can talk a little bit, and we'll put some stuff together. But it'll be good. All right. So anybody else have any questions that are relevant to what was talked about tonight, or just general questions that I can help and hang out with? No? Okay. I don't see any hands being raised or pinged or whatever. So, Vicky, your camera, girl, I don't know. I can just see your forehead. I can see Vicky's forehead. That's it. There she is.
Oh, hi, Vicky.
She's just like, yeah, she's gonna get herself.
Look,
Hey,
Michael.
hey, Michael. Dude,
Hey,
look, man. You're looking all trim, brother.
I feel it, man.
You
I'm
are.
feeling good.
You're killing it, man. That's awesome.
I love it, man.
Are you in for NYKO, or were you able to figure it out?
No, I'm not in. I got to go to St. Louis for a hockey tournament.
All right, man. No worries. No worries.
But I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to Arizona in March, and then I'm going to Vegas, and then I think we're doing another one.
Cool. Very cool. That's outstanding. Yeah. So those of you that can't make this one, be aware that there are some Super Saturdays coming up. There are, celebration will be in Las Vegas.
University in Action in March is here
Yep. University Action's here.
in Phoenix.
So
It's-
if you can make it here, if you, for those of you who can figure out how to do this, I'm thinking we could probably figure out a way to, if you can stay a few days after University Action, maybe we can figure out a way to head down to Mexico and hang out for a day or two. So if any of you are up for that, we can talk about that. And you'll need all you'll need is a passport. We've got the vehicles, so we'll head down to
The 9th.
So we'll figure out a way to stay a couple days extra, either at the beginning or the end. We'll just kind of discuss that after we get a little closer to that date. All right. So tell Zach you get the top bunk. Nice. All right, everybody. For everybody that's going to NYKO, see you in the next couple days. For everybody else, we'll see you Tuesday. If there's any questions, shout them out later, whatever. But we're here and happy that you guys could, as always, I'm so happy that people get to take the time to jump on the call and be on the call with us. So, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was on a run while you guys were recording, so you going to post this pretty soon?
Yeah, I'll post this up. What happens is, just so you guys know, what I have to do is I hit the, actually I'm going to do it now. I stop.